You log into Zoom to work with your amazing students in China, only to find out that you can no longer connect. So instead, this message pops up. What do you do? Why is this happening? We'll keep watching to find out why Zoom is blocked in China and how this affects online tutors, and learn why it is always important to have a backup plan. Hey there, you guys. My name's Joanne Kaminski, and 2 weeks ago, Zoom had determined that it wasn't working because there were problems caused by difficulties connecting to the local China domain name system, known as DNS, and that is continuing to be investigated. Now, Zoom users were unable to log onto the service, which was causing concerns because it was being blocked because of a politically sensitive date. China is actually going to mark the 70th anniversary of its founding October 1st with massive celebrations, including a military parade in Beijing, and has begun to clamp down on any possible sources of online or offline dissent. Now, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and most other social media networks have been blocked by the country's complex online censorship machine known as the Great Firewall of China. So why is there a firewall and what is it? Well, here's what I learned from the Washington Post. While strict censorship is nothing new in one-party China under Xi Jinping, online restraints have grown tighter, particularly around the time of politically sensitive events like the death of Nobel Peace Prize winner Liu Xiaobo and Communist Party Congress in 2017. Now, China's blocked WhatsApp and other things. They continue to clamp down on virtual private networks, and they call it the Great Firewall. So this is their cyber sovereignty, or protecting their country's internet from undue foreign influence. Moves to restrict online freedoms, including squelching a rising tide of #MeToo accusations, measures that all but eliminate the ability to post social media or even play games anonymously, and constricting the pipeline of new games to vet content and combat addiction. Meanwhile, foreign companies that want to operate on the mainland are forced to adopt practices often seen as invasive elsewhere. Now, Apple, which fought requests by the US government to create these backdoors into password-protected products, has deleted apps and built local data centers in line with Chinese government requirements. All this contributes to China having the least online freedom of the 65 countries monitored by rights group Freedom House. It says China's internet controls have reached new extremes. In the past year, people have been jailed for posting ill-advised comments, including in private chats on like the Twitter like Weibo or WeChat. China hasn't always restricted the web, though. When it formally arrived in 1994, it was relatively free and seen as an extension of the open door policy of tapping Western knowledge to reform the economy. As its popularity grew, the government yielded to a sentiment expressed by former leader Deng Xiaoping: when you open the window, the flies come in. From 2000, the foundations of the Great Firewall were laid with the introduction of the Golden Shield Project. This is a database-driven surveillance system capable of accessing every citizen's record and connecting China's security organizations. Now, the government employs at least 50,000 people to enforce censorship, barring websites it disapproves of and forcing search engines to filter out content considered harmful. There's also an army of social media influencers who, by one estimate, post 500 million pro-government comments a year. Crucially, the authorities make companies responsible for the content they show, even that generated by users, a practice that encourages self-censorship in a country where the state licenses all media. With an almost captive local market, China's tech giants have flourished, in the process becoming important taxpayers in China. At the other extreme, GreatFire.org, a nonprofit group that opposes censorship, has created mirror sites and a browser to get around the controls. So how does this affect tutors that don't work for Chinese companies? Well, tutors are looking for a way to still work with them. They are even resorting to downloading tools like Zoom, where the directions on how to use their service are only written in Chinese. So tutors are trying to figure out if they can share their screen and where the button is if they can. There's a tool just like Zoom that allows tutors to share their screen, and it's called Zoomoo.me. And so far, it's working really well for tutors like Juliet Bostock, who tutors small groups of students in China. So something like this could never have been considered a problem, right, or an issue. And this is why it is so important, you guys, to have a backup plan. All tutors who tutor online will have tech issues at one point or time in another. It is inevitable, right? So this is why I've added Sam DiMercurio to our team. He's always specialized in tech and is now here to help tutors whenever they experience tech issues. So if you're experiencing a tech issue and you're not sure how to solve it, click on the link in the description and we can get you set up with a time with Sam to help solve it. Now, sometimes the solutions to tech problems are easy. So if you're experiencing a slowdown in your speed on your computer, then first reboot your computer. We've all gotten used to keeping our computers on 24/7. This means that your computer has loaded dozens of applications and thousands of websites. Now, video conferencing applications are a resource of this hog. They're a hog, right? Even though they usually play nice, it's never a bad idea to give your computer a refresh. So get used to this always being your first step when you're experiencing problems with your tech. Have a backup plan. What if something goes wrong with your technology setup and you can't get anything working? Well, that's why having thought through a backup is important. If you normally use your computer to connect, maybe you need to start testing your phone or a tablet. Also, if this is the first time you've connected something new, like a computer, new camera, a document camera, new tablet, there could be problems. So having a backup plan might save you. So think about what that backup plan will be. So if you're in a video conferencing room, understand the difference. We all get used to working with what's right in front of us. Most of us know how our computer or our phone works and the little quirky things that they do. So don't assume starting a video meeting in a conference room will be the same as on your computer. If it's your first time, you might want to play around with it like a day before your tutoring session, just to get familiar with the setup and the use. Now, one time I was working with a student and I couldn't share my screen. So I started thinking about, how can I solve this? I had the student open up Kids A to Z on their side and share the screen with me. And this was a simple solution. But when tech issues begin to rise, it is sometimes hard for us to think clearly. Many of us kind of go in that panic mode. And the most important thing you can do is to stay calm and stay open-minded to solutions, because there's always a solution. Another time, the student was not able to get their sound to work. Now, if this happens in Zoom, have the student log out and log back in. They most likely didn't realize that they clicked the X that has them turn on their audio. But before I knew that, the parent that I was working with came up with a solution and said, hey, can I call you and we could do the audio that way? I said yes, and it worked perfectly. Now, tech issues are bound to happen. It's important to stay calm and think, what would Joanne do? No, I'm just kidding. But you want to, again, stay open-minded to how you can turn this problem into a solution. And as always, if you like this content, you guys, then like this video. Like! And I would love to continue this conversation. What are some of the tech issues that you have had occur to you, and how did you solve it? This will help each of us as we run across these problems remember what those problems are and some possible solutions. So comment below. And while you're there, if you've not yet subscribed, subscribe so that you can stay up to date on the latest and the greatest when it comes to the online tutoring world. And tomorrow, I'm going to be hosting a free webinar with Sam DiMercurio, the tech guy. He's going to be sharing information about how to do live streaming effectively, and you definitely do not want to miss it. I've left a link inside of the description so that you can join. This is a one-time only webinar, and those that show up, you guys are going to receive a free gift. So make sure you join us. If you are interested in learning more about Zoom and how to use it, then click on the video on the right-hand side. One of the members of Zoom shows our community all of the features and how they can benefit your online tutoring business.